Okay. Alright, welcome back to Super Sentai Review episode number 560. Yeah, once again we're doing 3 episodes. We're doing episodes 6 to 8 of Kiramager. 6 is a standalone episode where focus is on, well, Kira Pink, where she's her teacher and of course explain all this stuff, explain a picture. Eventually, of course, thanks to also being whacked hit by the princess, Seiko basically gets her memory back, and, well, it's a nice standalone episode for her. Yes. And then comes a really interesting two-parter. Yes, I think this was actually this show's very first two-parter. Because think about it, basically episode 0 goes into episode 1, and then from 2 through 6 it's all standalone episodes. Now 4 is definitely a canon episode. This two-part definitely is. Because also it reveals more of a connection between Datsu and the king. We'll get to that. So, this is also the first one to release 2 monsters. Basically a monster releases heat and cold. The Hot Cold Brothers, otherwise known as the Oven and Freezer monsters. Where it's like, yeah, they basically heat ability causing fire and everyone's freezing. And of course, basically, like, this is also Garza's plan because he's more interested in the other guy. And then at one point they go like big, and also throughout this episode Justin's being trained by the other Rangers to improve his body. Like one is like running, one is actually doing a VR video game for sharpshooting. We also have swordsmanship. We have one is actually Aikido. And they all do this 1 hour. There's even a joke about him only reducing his sleep schedule to 3 hours. That's actually bad. Don't do that. Even Seiko agrees that's a terrible idea. Like, yeah, increase it. Like, he needs also stuff for studying, because here's the thing about him for the whole entire team. He's the lead of the team. He's the youngest member. Well, technically, if you think about it, he's the only one actually in high school. Because he still goes to high school. So, there's that. And basically, he's at one point of exhaustion. At one point, he sees a vision of a new mech, which Garza sees too. And then at Cliffhanger, also the crystal damaged during this fight with the Oven and Freezer monsters. So they get away, and thanks also to Balloons of Smoke. And he's like knocked out cold. And then he goes into the Crystal's palace, where he sees the king. And the king recognizes him, like, oh, you're shiny. He's like, and by the way, when he wakes up, like, oh, not the first time I jumped out the king. Well, last time we did was back in episode 0. And then he draws like what took a place, and when he leaves, he forgets his changer. Look at the princess smart taking it with her, because even she realizes that. So, and then he goes out in his PJs to this location, like, oh, and he recognizes, oh, the private facility, of course, is a facility owned by Cart. And it contains the white crystal that the princess came to Earth back in the episode 0 movie. I'm like, this is where they kept all this time? Interesting. And it's like, oh yeah, you're the one who makes all. You have the same ability as my brother, and of course do a flashback of like him going through the same thing Jero's going through. Like, you're probably thinking, is Jero basically the king? No, he's not. It's just that he's similar to the King in a way. He just has similarities, and plus he has a memory of the events of what happened to Chrysalis. He classifies as a dream. I'm guessing this is memories. And of course, then the White Crystal is, thanks to him using his imagination, makes it into a train. Yes. And it's chased by Garza's train. And then he does something completely weird. He then has the two mechs merge into King Express. And Garza's trying to attack the other mech because he's the other one because he's evil. And he's like, oh, good idea. And he points the head at the monster. I thought that was kind of funny. And eventually he destroys the monster. And of course they separate. It's like, Urgh. It's like, he gets angry. And he's like, and Garza's like, oh, I've never seen a crystal get that much power before of a calamity. And, well, the end again. And of course, then the episode ends with Joe putting the rest of the team through his own training. Sketching. Seiko. Interesting. I do enjoy this two-parter. Yeah, I thought this whole idea of making a new mech was a really cool idea. Like, the answer to a curious question I have is about the mechs. Like, after these two, is there going to be any more creative for the show? Like, because at this point we had, aside from the main 5, we've had, like, 4 more come in. I think there's still a few more left. I think like 1, 2... I think about 3 more. Yeah, 3 more left to go. And then basically they would have gone through pretty much basically pretty much all of them. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, to notifications. I'm going to head out for because I got to gas my car, and when I get back, I'm going to talk more about our stuff, okay? Thanks, you. Bye.